I was afraid to go for it. I was good enough, safe enough, comfortable enough. And on that beach, I had a totally different conversation with myself that says, why am I not going for it? What is my hang up? And what it really boiled down to, I was afraid of it. That's the truth. Hi, this is Coach Joe Lucas, and welcome to the Magellan Network Show. My goal inside of this communication, this show, is to share with you my nearly 30 years of coaching some of the most successful financial advisors in North America. We're going to be talking about strategies, syntaxes. We're going to be bringing guests on from time to time, and I'm going to share with you what's working now. So think of this show as sort of like a little one-on-one kind of mini coaching cast, if you like, where we're going to be going in depth from time to time on strategies to help you grow your business, get more effective, become more efficient, find balance in your time management, grow your business, and quite frankly, whatever else is going on in the world today. So before we get to today's episode, I'd love for you to do a couple things for me. Number one, make sure that if you're watching this on YouTube, that you subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you're doing the audio, make sure that you give us a review on whether it's Spotify or Apple. We'd really appreciate that. And quite frankly, that does help. It does matter when you rate things and like things and subscribe to things. It helps us get the word out to more of the industry. And lastly, I have a very special gift for you. Go to MagellanNetwork.net, so one word, MagellanNetwork.net, and I have for you a complimentary membership, 100% gratis, where you can tap into about between 50 and 75 hours of masterclasses, forms, tools, templates, and strategies. So please go ahead and make sure you go ahead and get that claimed. Smash the like button and subscribe. And please go ahead and leave us a review on whatever podcasting platform you're on. And now, let's get to this week's episode. Hi, it's your Coach Joe Lucas, and welcome to this episode of the Magellan Network Show. This is a very annually very important week for me. This is the week of our Vision Conference, I think the 23rd one. So if you're watching or listening to this, we're releasing this on Friday, the 22nd of November, 2024, which means today is the last day of our 3-day process. And what I want to do for a few minutes this morning or this afternoon or this evening, I guess depends when you're listening to this or watching this, is to I want to share with you my approach this year in terms of how I'm going to help advisors construct their strategic plans, and then some of the key elements. So we're going to hit upon a lot of different things in the next 15 minutes or so just kind of hang in there. So the first thing, we're getting very close to closing the books on 2024, and I would say, barring anything unique or crazy over the next 4 to 6 weeks, I would say, I'm trying to think of anybody not doing this. At least in my world, I think everybody's going to have a record year this year, record AUM gathering year, production year. Markets have been good, so on and so forth, right? We're by the election, so now we're going to be able to focus on, quote unquote, what truly matters. If you did not have a record year this year, and unless there was an extenuating circumstance, like something personally went on in your world that was a distraction or you had to put energy into it, then understandably, right? But if you had more of a typical approach to your business this year and you didn't set records, you're not leveling up to your possibility, your capabilities, right, in that regard. So you need to really look at this. So I'm approaching this year with my clients, with my members, a couple of different ways. First off, one of the things that I have learned in my own journey now, 30 plus years doing what I do, is that what most human beings do is when they think about their future, is they take the current version of themselves and they put them in that future frame and it freaks them out. Like, for example, I was speaking to one of my personal clients. I just said to them, I said, look, tell me what your world looks like if you had to double or triple your business in the next 36 to 60 months, right? And this is already a successful advisor, 7-figure practice. And I could just watch him really I could say, hey, look, I don't want that. I'm busy enough. I want any more responsibilities. I'm happy. I'm comfortable. You totally push back. His name is Joe. And I said to him, I said, Joe, what you're doing is what most people do, is they take the current version of themselves, They take the current mode of how they operate, right, inside of their game, and they project the future into doubling or tripling of the business. And what we do is we connect I'm going to be working 2 to 3 times harder. I've got to put 2 to 3 times the energy in. I don't want to do that. I don't think I can do that. I don't want to do it. I'm not capable of doing that, right? So what happens is that you get into this scenario where you want to evolve, you want to grow your game, but you struggle growing it because you're taking the current version of you and you're trying to pull it forward. So in my world, I've had, soon we'll have 3 different iterations of this for me. So I've been at this now 30 plus years. February 15th, 2025 will be 31. So for the first 25, I would say the way I frame it, and I've written it out, and I've explored this my own, is that there was Coach Joe 1.0. Now, Coach Joe 1.0 was a good coach. He cared deeply about people. He took on people because he wanted to help. Bit of a nonprofit, if you ask me. But he wanted to really have impact with human beings. Loves working with people, right? Still do, by the way. That's not changed. Made more money than any member of his family ever did, right? Because my family's like lower middle class, right? So where we came from. So, so making 6 figures was like a big deal. Like that was good enough. Like, look, I've achieved. I can declare victory, right? And I was good enough. But along came May of 2019, where I hit my 25th year. And I was like, I hit this personal milestone and this professional milestone. And I felt I should be very celebratory. And I was the exact opposite. I was looking back at my career and what I've done, and I've done a lot of great things, a lot of good things. But is this my best? Is this the best version of me? Is this all there's ever going to be? Am I going to play out the string now for the next 20, 25 years, right? Because that's my intent. In that spring, I made a decision I wanted to grow again. Like I was growing like 5 or 10%, but it was nothing like I never had that real, I always label myself, I'm the ultimate grinder. I grind out success every year, right? Just do it, right? And so I said, I'm going to go and level up this year. I'm going to make my second 25 my masterpiece, right? After my first 25. This weird idea that I want to coach for 50 years, which would put me around 80 when I'm done, right? And I turn 60 in about a month. So I said, okay, I'm going to scale up. What do I need? What do I need, right? And this is just the beginning of a lot of digital marketing, right? A lot of internet marketing, stuff like that, right? It's 5 years ago. I got to learn digital marketing. I got to create funnels. I got to run YouTube. I got to run Facebook ads. I got to get in front of all these advisors. I got this vision, right, of all this marketing machine I'm going to build for myself, right? And so I seek out, people that I follow, like on, Instagram, Facebook, whatever, YouTube. And one of them was running learn how to do what I'm doing, right? And come to Huntington Beach, spend 3 days. And I'll teach you how I do it, right? So I said, I'm going to do it. And I get my wife, Marissa, we go. Today it wouldn't be that much money, but back then it was like, yeah, okay, this is like a big decision here. So we both go. 3-day thing. Middle of day one, we get, go around a room. We talk about, kind of what we do, how we do it, why we do it. And I lay out, that, hey, I have a mission. I want to help every advisor be successful. I want da-da-da-da. And I kind of go through my economic model, blah, blah, blah. I never forget what the instructor said, like point blank to my face. He goes, you don't have a marketing problem. In fact, I don't even know why you're here. You have a you problem. You're trying to help everybody, and that's why you're running a nonprofit, because you're trying to help everybody. And people that try to help everybody, there's nothing wrong with that, but understand they tend to walk around in sandals, and maybe they live in a house, and that's about it, right? So that kind of struck me because I thought I was going there for something that I thought I needed, and that's not what I needed. So the next morning, I'm good doing my morning ritual. I'm on the beach on Huntington Beach, just south of the pier, for those of you who know where that is. Just sitting there, like the whole conversation I didn't sleep well that night. I got up in the morning, and I kept asking myself, how much validity does he have? Is he accurate? Is that really my truth? Hi, Coach Joe Lukacs here, and I'm just breaking here for a moment just to do a couple quick reminders. Number one, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel or our podcast. In addition, please leave a comment or a review. Those things really matter. And share this episode with 3 of your colleagues inside the financial services space. And lastly, make sure that you go ahead and claim your free membership inside of Magellan Network. Now back to this week's episode. And I don't know what happened. I just had this, don't want to get it sound weird. I had this voice. It said, stop being scared. Stop being scared of being the best. Stop worrying what other people think. Stop worrying about being accepted. Stop worrying about, people liking you. And go be the best. And you'll attract the right people. I remember leaving the beach. It wasn't like this hours of contemplation. It was like moments. If you've ever been there, there's the sand, which is where I was, and then there's a promenade, and then the street, and then the hotel. So I swear to you, when I hit the promenade, I went on that beach one way, I came off totally different. To make a long story short, so Coach 2.0 was born. And in 5 short years, took the business from, good 6-figure business to a multiple 7-figure business. Totally leveled up my game. Totally empowered myself. And I ran that game for 5 years. That version of me. So version 2.0 ran for 5 years. So as I speak to you guys here on a Friday, in the midst of 3.0. Now, it's not this get to the beach and have this epiphany or thing like that. This is a little different. It's been more about being very methodical in who I need to become, next version, what I have to stop doing, right, leave behind, and how to streamline and be, working your 20% unique capability zone. And that's really the message for today, which is if you want to elevate, you don't need to elevate your business. Right? I think everybody sits around, I got to, if I can double my business, or if I can do this, or I can do that, or whatever it is, and they get caught up in the numbers. Oh man, if I can just bolt on another $100 million, or I can get to $1 billion, if I could, this, or I can do that. And you can ask it, and I asked myself those questions for decades, right? And I got some answers here, some answers there. There was nothing really transformative until I decided to be different. So what I realized this year, celebrating my 30th anniversary as a coach back in February of this year, February 15th. May was my 30th winning anniversary. Let's not confuse the two. That I kind of took a victory lap this year in 2024. Good enough, success, multiple 7 figures, business is good, right? And then in the summer this year, I started to get that uneasy feeling again. I had in the spring of my 25th anniversary, feeling something man, this is very familiar. What am I feeling? And what I realized was this is, subconsciously I'm bored. I can put this thing on autopilot now for the next 10 years, be done. And I tested that a little bit this year. And I like parts of it. I didn't like most of it. So my wife and I were on a cruise. It was August. I just wanted to jump on a boat. I live in Florida. It's pretty easy. And so I forget where we were, not that it matters, but I remember waking up one morning, doing my morning ritual, having a cappuccino. And I said, you know what, I've got to go again. And I've got to go and I've got to, do what we're doing, but I need to really elevate everything we're doing. I've got to elevate myself. So that's where Coach Joe 3.0 was born, the concept again. And so for the last several months, I've been working on who do I need to become? What do I need to leave behind? Because the reality is you can't take everything with you. In a lot of cases, you can't take everybody with you too. So back 5 years ago, I had to say goodbye to some long-term clients. Even last year, on the cusp of my 30th anniversary, I said goodbye to 2 or 3 20, 25-year clients, not because I didn't like them, but they stopped growing. They're happy, they're getting ready to sell out, they're in coast mode. And what I realized is that I don't work really well with advisors who are happy just being the current version of themselves. If they think this is good enough for them, that's great. I'm not the coach for them. And that was really a moment of clarity in my mind. Who do I work best with? And a lot of time we get caught up, at least in my world, you guys get caught up in how much money they have, I get caught up in, where they are, kind of model they're running, stuff like that. level of success. But what I didn't get clear on is what are their intentions, right? And once I got clear on that, man, like I started to attract the right people. Really, really cool. So for the last several months, like I said, working on 3.0, and it's a lot of times about shedding stuff. So a lot of times scalability is not about how do I do more. It's like, how do I become more and do less, right? How do you lead better? How do you hire? Like for me, it's like getting very clear on who I work best with personally, right? And not coming off that standard and demanding more standard. Like, and not everybody knows this, but I've been in the last 30 to 45 days really taking my coaching work and totally dissecting it, adding things, deleting things, and coming up with a whole new concept, which I'll be deploying in January, which will be the anti-coaching program, as I like to call it, the anti-program. And it's really geared for multi-million-dollar advisors who want to be multi-billion-dollar advisors, right? Because I work with people like that. And that's a differential, right? This is what I'm asking you to think about as we get ready to go into business. For some of you who have already been with me the last couple of days, you're watching this, you know the power of what we've done. But for everybody else, what I would say to you is this. Just because you're having a record year this year does not mean you're at the level of who you can become to play the long game successfully. Great markets and great conditions hide a lot of sins in this game, a lot of faults, a lot of flaws. They tend to show up when the markets go the other way, right? And we're in a bit of adversity, right? And then you know what you're made of, right? Because now it's not smooth sailing. And like I said, I've been in this for 30 years, 30 plus. So you want to talk to me about, the 1990s, right? Y2K, 9/11, 2008, 2009, 2020. I mean, I can go through every version of a black swan event in this game, and I can tell you that most of our industry, most of the human beings in this industry, when things go sideways, they freak out. They go totally into scarcity mode. They go into survival mode, and that's a shame because what you really need to do is the exact opposite of that and lean into it. When your competitors are hiding from their phones and their email and like glued to the TV, that's when you should be working. That's when you need to go to work. It's just counterintuitive, right? So let me wrap this up. I told you my personal story because I'm no different than you. What I do is I coach advisors, I lead advisors, I mentor advisors, I mastermind with advisors. You coach, lead your clients. You and I have basically the same chairs, we just do it with different people. If you're looking to elevate your game, you know there's another level of you just haven't tapped it yet, right? You haven't found it. You've found it on short spurts here and there, but it's never taken, right? First off, don't quit. Because your breakthrough could be a day away, a situation away, a moment away. So never quit. The second thing I would say is think about it. Like, tell yourself the truth. Tell yourself the truth about why you are and why you're where you are. So if you know that you've got bad habits, tell yourself you got bad habits. My big thing in that moment was I was afraid to go for it. I was good enough, safe enough, comfortable enough. And on that beach, I had a totally different conversation with myself that says, why am I not going for it? What is my hang up? And what it really boiled down to, I was afraid of it. That's the truth. Afraid of what? Afraid of failure, afraid of rejection. Afraid of getting in front of very successful people in this game and them not liking me. All this head trash, all this stuff. And once I took that garbage out, all things are possible now. So I want you to think about that. And I want you to go into Thanksgiving next week. We're not going to be here next week. I'm going to take off the holiday, be with my family. You have 100% of your career left. And I don't care if you're 25 years old or 80 years old or anywhere in between, it's still you got 100% of what's left. You have to decide, am I okay just being good enough? Or am I willing to go ahead and be great? If you want to be great, reach out. Thanks for watching and listening to this episode of Magellan Network Show. Happy Thanksgiving to you and your family. I truly mean that. We are so lucky to be in the advisor game where we can have time, freedom, and economic abundance. And for some of you younger advisors who are starting out or just getting in the game, here's what I would tell you. Do not quit. If you hang long enough and always ask your questions and always be not satisfied with the version of who you are, you will figure this out. And you will be great. See you guys after the holiday. Thanks for watching and listening. Thank you for watching or listening to this episode of the Magellan Network Show. Hey, if any of this resonated with you, I invite you to come to MagellanNetwork.net, and we have a powerful group coaching community of like-minded advisors. Come in for a trial. You and I will have a one-on-one conversation. Let's see if I can help elevate your game both personally and professionally.